This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And welcome back. An estate plan is a crucial aspect to meeting the long-term needs of your family. But the question is, do you know where to get started? We have invited Jessica Rooks here this morning to discuss the importance of estate planning. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. So first of all, explain to us exactly what is estate planning.
Okay, an estate plan, simply put, is the way that an individual gives their property to another individual or an organization once they pass away. The way that they do that, it may be through a will, a trust, non-probate transfer, or even the probate court. A good estate plan should be customized to reflect your family or relationship dynamics, and it should focus on what is important to you. Ultimately, it should try to save your family time, money, and frustration once you pass away.
So my other question is that you have, that I have, or anybody else, is say you don't make an estate plan. What happens to your property then?
That's a really good question, and one that I don't think a lot of people realize the answer to. Even if you don't actively make an estate plan, you already have one. It's just one that you're probably not going to like, and you would have never designed it for yourself. If you own property and you've not taken any estate planning measures, the state of Missouri has designed your estate plan for you. They've created a series of laws that are going to decide exactly where your property is going to go. And these laws are not designed to be personalized in nature, so they don't tend to apply well to complex families. Essentially, I tell people, you worked hard for what you have. You need an estate plan that's going to maximize that hard work.
So what type of individual should really focus on having an estate plan and making one in place?
Well, that's going to fall into two categories, I think, that really need it. The first category are individuals who own property. And property could be a house, a boat, car, farming equipment, annuities, stocks, or even your business. If you're an individual that owns property, it's important to find out where is that property going to go. And you work hard during your life to acquire all that property, then you should make sure that your hard work isn't undermined with an improper estate plan.
And so how do we actually go about making one? So I know you briefly mentioned that if you don't make one, that the state of Missouri actually has several laws in place to create one for you. But if you want to go about making one for your own and making sure that certain family members get certain things or whatever you like, how do you go about doing that? Is it similar to a will?
Well, and a will is a part of what could be of that estate plan.
Okay.
The first thing that you want to do is you want to talk to an attorney. And you want to make sure that attorney has a really good understanding of what estate planning is. So before your estate plan is actually created, that attorney should have a good understanding of what are your personal assets, what are your long-term goals, and what are the drawbacks and benefits of different plans. And so that's looking at what are the drawbacks of a will, what are the benefits of a trust, and looking at those specifics. A complex estate, it may actually require a lot more work. Your financial planner, accountant, or other professionals may need to work with you and your attorney to make that plan.
And when is the best time to go about planning this?
I always say now. Now is the good time to start. But ultimately, you have until you pass away.
Okay.
But there's also a second time frame that you need to be aware of. And that's you have to have the mental capacity to make the documents. And we don't often know when we're going to pass away or when we're going to be rendered unable to make those decisions. So that's why I always recommend starting sooner rather than later. And for those that already have an estate plan in place, after any major life changes, you always need to check in with your attorney, and you need to make sure that those events didn't make your plan not as effective.
Okay.
And so when you're looking at those major events, you're looking at, did I have a significant improvement in my financial situation? Has my family changed? Have I gotten married or divorced? Or has a loved one became disabled? Each of those, check in with your attorney. And if someone in your current estate plan has passed away before you, again, check in with your attorney. And finally, if 10 years have passed, it's always good to do a checkup. Is your estate plan still working?
And that was going to be my next question. You know, can you change it or alter it anytime you want, or is there specific time frames?
No, you can change it anytime you want. But I think that 10-year mark, if you haven't looked at it in 10 years, something's probably happened in your life. And you may not have to change it, but go check it out.
All right. And really quickly, what about those like estate sales that we see popping up around town? What does that do? Is that because they didn't have a plan in place and the family kind of just
They're used if sometimes you'll see them if they weren't, if there was no plan in place.
Okay.
That's just kind of a way we're going to get rid of things.
Okay.
Or even if you did have a plan, not everybody wants every single dresser.
Right.
So let's find a way to make some, get rid of mass amounts of items.
Interesting. That's interesting to know. So what we'll do is we'll post everything on our website at heartlandconnection.com. We'll also link up your information as well if any of our viewers have any questions. Thank you so much, Jessica, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll be right back.